Hello, everyone. So we are here today with Danielle Rovito, and I want to start off by saying Danielle and I have worked together. She's actually helped me with a client. She's in the Poconos. Many of you are probably familiar with that from going for a little vacation, a weekend trip, or maybe even a second home. Um, and she's with Remax Crossroads in the Poconos. And I'd like to start off by saying thank you, Danielle, for joining us today and giving us a little insight into what's going on in your market.
Thank you for having me today. And it was
Yeah,
a pleasure working with you on our last transaction. It was
yeah,
very smooth, and I appreciate you trusting me with that.
yes, absolutely. No, I appreciated your quick response, and I think a lot of us brokers will understand out there that being able to connect with someone quickly, have them jump in, prepare comps, meet with the client, all of that stuff is really time sensitive when a client feels like they're ready to move forward on something. So I know you acted super fast, and fortunately, it sold super fast as well.
It did.
So congratulations on that, and yeah, thanks for. I think I captured you when you were actually getting your hair done. So thank you for picking up the phone when you were trying to have like a moment to yourself as well.
In this job, that's what it's about, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's there, you're never,
Being
even when you're,
accessible to our clients and our co-agents.
yes, exactly. At all times. You're never really
Yeah.
on vacation or having a moment. So,
No.
but
Thank God we
so
love what we do.
yes, exactly. Well, that's, I think, the key. That's probably the key to every industry and being successful at the end of the day, but
Yeah.
especially in real estate with technology. And it's a, you're on the clock. There's no like, really
Yep.
clocking out except for maybe, an hour or so here or there. So yeah, so
Mhm.
that was huge. I really appreciate it. And so now tell us, I know you've been living in the Poconos for like 20 years or so, right? Like
Yeah.
quite a
It
long
doesn't
time.
feel possible.
Okay.
So yeah, I moved up here now 25 years it's been.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
it
And
seems crazy. Time flies.
it does, especially when you have a family and kids.
Yes.
And Danielle
Yes.
and I were chatting a little bit about the multitasking. That's not just our jobs, but also our personal lives as moms as well.
Hmm.
So I give you a lot of credit for figuring out how to handle all of that and balance. And I'm taking notes. So. So tell me, like, what prompted you to get into real estate? How long have you been working in the Poconos in the real estate arena?
Well, so I technically moved here for work. I was
Okay.
an opening store manager for a retail chain,
Okay.
and they sent me to the Poconos to open up
Okay.
a retail store.
Hmm.
So while I was here, met the love of my life, my husband, who was a local.
Okay.
And of course, being in the retail field, you don't really get to make your own hours. You're
Sure.
tied to your job.
Hmm.
So I did stay home for a little bit with the kids, which was not easy because, being career minded, I did want to get back to work. And
Yeah.
we were thinking about different avenues to make money and different revenue streams while I was being a stay at home mom for a while. And
Hmm.
one of the biggest things we thought about was why not get into real estate and buy and purchase properties and do long term
Hmm.
rentals.
Yep.
Well, I wind up liking it more on the real estate part.
Yep.
And I really enjoyed the hunting of the properties and the negotiations of the properties and
Hmm.
searching new areas. And the agent I was working for was like, go get your license. And I was
Yeah.
like, you
Totally.
know what? I'm going to go get my license. And that's how I became a realtor.
Yeah.
It turned out to be what was supposed to be just working for myself for my investments and property managing my own properties turned out to
Hmm.
be a love for a career that I didn't even know I had. So,
Yeah.
and now it's I truly love my job. So it doesn't make it so much work anymore.
That's awesome. It's interesting how like you just really never know in life the direction that your path is going to
Yeah.
go. And
Yep.
I mean, likewise, I didn't anticipate being in real estate full time like this. I thought it was going to be kind of a little bit of a side thing, maybe for family and
Yeah.
personal investment opportunities. And then next thing I know, it's full time. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's I feel
I
like
I
there's
can
so.
Same thing. I was kind of the same thing. I kind of thought maybe, well, I'll do it for myself.
Yeah.
And I, since I like it, but I wound up loving it, and it
Yeah.
has become my career now.
Yeah. And I always say there's no real way to do real estate like part-time in my
No,
view either. It's all
no.
consuming.
Yes, it is.
It's like being a mom in a lot of respects.
Yes.
It's there's you're at your clients, you're on call for them and you have to just make sure that you're making everything happen timely. So
Yes.
now what is, I know like the Poconos has had so much activity over the years. I mean, I
Yeah,
just remember 10 years
yeah,
ago even hearing that.
yes.
So like what's going on right now with the market pre-COVID to kind of now and so on?
Well, of course, we had the 9/11, unfortunately, event happen, and it did
Hmm.
drive our area to have a lot of um, New Yorkers come this way because we are
Hmm.
still a very commuter friendly state.
Yeah.
So that did drive up our market. But at the time, we didn't have the infrastructure we did now. So we didn't have the
Okay.
jobs we did now.
Hmm.
So when the 2008 crash happened and people had to change, maybe positions at work, or,
Hmm.
lost their jobs, we did have a kind of a very big sellout on foreclosures here.
Okay.
And over the time from 2008 until pre-COVID, we had a lot of growth of infrastructure. We've had
Okay.
a casino that came in the area.
Hmm.
We have become the water park mecca of the United States. We have three big name water parks in our area:
Okay.
Kalahari,
Hmm.
Aquatopia, and Great Wolf. So we became a
Okay.
destination, not just in the past where we were known as a ski town,
Yeah.
and the honeymoon mecca
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
East Coast, probably,
Yeah.
which we do still have the hotels with the heart-shaped jacuzzis and
Okay.
champagne
That's,
jacuzzis.
I think of that during
I think
like,
a lot of people think of that from New
yeah,
York because of the commercials back in the time. Yep.
yeah.
So we still have that, all that, but we have
Okay.
hiking trails, and that has brought a lot of infrastructure and a lot of businesses to our areas,
Okay.
expansions of hospitals, expansions of schools, and now
Hmm.
we have a lot of people that actually not only live but work where they are.
Okay.
So even though
Hmm.
we are still a big, strong, commuter friendly area considered the
Hmm.
Poconos, we still have a good amount of families that have moved up here and now working and striving in
Okay.
the community. So
Okay.
that has definitely changed. And COVID brought up the prices where they needed to we feel, in
Hmm.
our market, even though everybody did see a crazy highest and
Yeah.
best and everything
Yeah.
was selling off. For our area, we needed that. But so
Hmm.
we have dropped a little bit in our prime areas are
Hmm.
pretty steady and still getting highest and best.
Okay.
We have also become a very big Airbnb friendly area.
Okay.
So we have different areas. We have a lot of investors that come here for the Airbnb purchasing.
Hmm.
So our market kind of opens up to families and
Hmm.
people that are moving here to for life changes and careers that we now have here. But we still are very commuter friendly since we're
Yeah.
hour and a half to 2 hours to the city. And with our bus
Absolutely.
systems in place, we have a main bus that goes on a regular basis. So
Hmm.
we open to both. So we haven't really seen a drastic slowdown, other
Okay.
than in those areas that kind of were only sold, I think, because people were looking for privacy and land and
Hmm.
some peacefulness during COVID. Those areas have
Yeah.
maybe slowed down, but any
Yeah.
areas that are still commuter friendly or within an Airbnb section, we're still in a steady market right here, right now.
Okay.
Inventory being a little bit of an issue
Yeah.
because with the rates have gone up, we
Hmm.
lost those starter home families that were looking to sell those starter homes and move into their next stage house.
Hmm.
We've seen a drop in that because, last year they were moving because the interest rates were so low that we were, okay, let's sell your house here and then we could buy here. And they were roughly around the same prices. So
Sure.
we are seeing a crunch in the market for starter homes.
Hmm.
So that is something that we have been affected with recently in the last increase of the credit.
And I feel like that's happening everywhere. I mean, I think those are the people that I'm seeing impacted significantly here too, because They don't have the funds that, someone else later on in their life has developed where they won't be as impacted by those rates. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, I feel your pain with that.
Yeah.
You guys are lucky that you have the Airbnb opportunity because in New York
Yes.
we are very absolutely like no Airbnb. So there's it's a big thing with a lot of buildings to not want Airbnb to take place here. And I'm sure, of course, I get it. It's like it's about, we're living literally on top of each other
Each
here.
other. Yes.
But I feel like the short-term option for Airbnb really just presents and opens up to like a whole other avenue that I know we just can't take
Yes.
advantage of. And you were making me think as you're talking about the water parks. My kids are 4.5. So at what point are they going to be into water parks? Like at what point do we get there?
Well, so I don't know if you ever heard, but there's a one that's called Great Wolf, and that caters to the younger clientele from the ages probably
Okay.
like 3 to like 10. And their
Okay.
whole themed hotel is all about outdoor and Great Wolf. They have little wolf ears they get when they check in, and everything is
Oh,
they
neat.
do this through the whole hotel. They get this little wand and they do story time through the hotel. They have
Okay.
characters that come to life at certain story times in the main lobby, and they really cater to the younger clientele
Okay.
of for water parks. And then we have the bigger, Kalahari, which is
Yeah.
based on more South Africa themed, and
Hmm.
they have a small area too, but it ranges more for adults, teenagers, and family fun.
Okay.
And then we have an outdoor one that's only open in the summertime. That the ski resort was Camelback. They shut
Okay.
down once the ski resort shuts down. They build a water park outdoor.
Wow. I
Yeah,
did not realize some of this. So you're giving me an education on the Poconos. And
we are
we
really become the water park mecca.
Yeah, totally. And frankly, that's like for us, that's a great, I mean, we live right in Lenox Hills, so we're on the Upper East Side. That's a great getaway for like a long weekend or something to be able to
Yes.
do something with the kids, but not have to get on a plane, all
Yeah.
of
And I
that.
think that's
So
why we become so Airbnb friendly
yeah.
here. Because investors and families, because now
Mhm.
you want to come to the hotel with, extended family, the
Yeah.
Airbnbs allow you to still come to the hotels, but buy daytime passes at most of our water parks.
Oh,
And
okay.
then you could go for daytime visits, but we also have um, outdoor adventures with they have
Hmm.
like climbing gyms and mountain slides and
Okay.
river rafting, and then we have the ski slopes and snow tubing. So we've become a four-season
Okay.
community where we used to only
Nice.
be a come in the winter and rent the ski chalet.
Yeah.
And we've really expanded that,
I
to
mean,
having
that's
the
what
opportunity.
in my mind, I still had a lot of that in there. So yeah, you
Yes,
totally
everybody
opened up
thinks
my eyes.
about it.
I'm going to be texting my husband to check out Great Wolf like
Great
after this
Wolf.
because yeah, I think that they would really,
Yeah.
it sounds like they'd have a blast with that.
They did.
Yeah.
When my kids were younger, we
Yeah.
had a lot of like, instead of just having a birthday party, we'd go there, stay overnight as a family. Even
Yeah.
though it was close, it was still felt like you were escaping and having, a little vacation, mini vacation right in our
Yeah.
backyard.
Totally. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's awesome. And there's a casino, which my husband
Yes.
developed.
Yes.
So that's pretty close
five
to Great Wolf.
minutes from 5 minutes from Great Wolf. It's
Okay.
literally 5 minutes away from Great Wolf.
He's going to be sold. I can tell him when the kids and I go and pass out, he can go to the casino. And as long as he's
Yep.
back by morning, we're all good. So,
There's
uh,
something for everybody.
that's what it sounds like to me.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we often go to New Jersey just because my family's there and explore around there. But now it sounds like we have to start heading your direction
Yeah. And
instead.
if you
So
ever come to our beautiful town,
yeah.
Stroudsburg Main Street has really blossomed into developing little bistros, and art has become pulled
Hmm.
into the culture. Right now, we have in the wintertime, it's called Find Your Snowman. And they have
Okay.
snowmen throughout our whole town, and you get a checklist. and you have
Okay.
to find the snowman throughout the towns. And
Oh,
it's
how cool.
advertised in all of our hotels, and people love coming downtown town to find the snowman and,
Yeah.
stop at the local bakery. And we have a little candy store and
Yeah.
wineries on Main Street, and it's really expanded the town. They've brought in a lot of little things throughout the year to actually draw people from the hotels to come
Hmm.
visit the town, which then gets that conversation. We get a lot of calls. We love the
Yeah.
town. We loved visiting. We want to buy a second
Hmm.
home, or, we've decided this is a great area to have a primary home and commute
Hmm.
back to work in New York. So
Yeah.
we do have catered to both clientels now that we didn't have before.
Yeah.
It was a lot of just, ski resorts and honeymoon
Hmm.
vacation spots,
Yeah.
and, not a lot of opportunities for work, and what has definitely changed with all these expansions.
Yeah, absolutely. No, like you've definitely opened my eyes a lot to the Poconos. So thank you for that. And hopefully someone else out there is now going, huh,
Yeah,
we could go there too. That's a great idea. This could be a
yeah.
great destination. So definitely keep you posted and hopefully we could even, meet up in person at that
I'd
point.
love that. I'd love to show you our town. It's one of my
Yes.
favorite things to do.
Yeah, that would be great. And I know you can handle my kids because you've done it with your own. So,
Oh,
um,
yes.
but so now, as agents, I feel like we all have some kind of like crazy story or funny story or something that's happened to us throughout our careers. Share something with us that you think would be, interesting or comical
Well,
to
I
others out
picked
there.
my virtual tour with one of a clientele from New York that was asking me
Okay.
to do virtual tour stories.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, we're in the Poconos. We have snow and ice, and we might be in the lower valley and not have anything, but you
Mm-hmm.
tend to travel around, and next thing you know, you're in 3 feet of snow, and we're on top of a mountain.
Yeah.
So I had a client that we picked out some locations for a second home, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing my virtual tour, and I have my little selfie stick so I could
Mm-hmm.
start from the street and show them everything. And, I get to the house and I look and the driveway's not plowed. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, like, I could do this. I asked the client to hold on a second. I'm going to throw my snow boots
Yeah.
on, and I'm just going to trek up this hill, and we're going to be good. So I'm going up. And as I'm going up, I slid down from the top all the way down the driveway with the selfie
Oh,
stick in
God.
hand. And the poor client's trying terribly not to laugh as she's watching
Oh
papers go
my God.
flying, my phone and the folders.
That's
So that's
definitely
probably one
one
of
for
my
the
favorite
books.
stories, just because,
That would
and I
be
just, now my hair is wet, and I looked very disheveled, and I'm pretty sure I lost a shoe because I didn't tie, and I just slipped on the snow boots and a shoe's flying. And I'm like, all right, can you hold on 1 second? And as they watch me gather all my stuff as I'm crawling up the driveway this time, I'm not one of my best professional moments.
you're lucky you didn't really get hurt. Of
I
course, your adrenaline was probably going so much at that point because you were like, oh my God, like I can't believe this just happened
I
that you
was
wouldn't be able
actually
to
trying
feel
to
any
keep
pain.
the phone on the selfie stick as I was holding
Yeah,
it, but no, it flew.
totally. Oh my God. And you found your phone. It wasn't like
Yes,
lost
yes. So,
in the
and
snow
you know what the
somewhere.
funny story is? They wind up buying the house. I sometimes wonder if they just didn't feel bad that I went through all of that to show it to them, or if it was their dream second home.
That could be a strategy. You never know. Oh God. That's definitely a good one. I would say that, and there's another agent I was talking to, and basically, long story short, you'll have to watch the video. A bird's nest got set on fire during a walkthrough.
Oh,
So the birds were okay, everybody was fine,
oh,
but yeah, like I feel like
yeah.
those two definitely gave me like really, really good visuals all the way around.
I
But
wondered if they were recording. I should have asked them, because there
yeah,
was like several families and they were going in
yeah.
on the vacation home. I'm like,
That would
I
have
might
been
be
a
on
really good
bloopers
blooper.
somewhere, or some
Yeah.
sort of video somewhere that someone might find of me later on.
Yeah.
Agents gone
Absolutely.
wrong.
Yeah. There's probably a social media opportunity in there
Yes.
for that. Like we've seen it all, but I would
Yes.
definitely ask them if there's any chance they kept that recording for sure.
Yeah.
Now, one another question that I always like to ask people is, what is if you had to pick, and sometimes this can be very hard. So, but if you had to pick a favorite place in the Poconos, like a personal favorite place, what would that be? And then, of course, I'm going to add on to that if you have a favorite spot in New York City as well for our New York City.
Well, for the Poconos, it's very easy.
Okay.
We have this beautiful spot in where the Delaware Water Gap meets, New
Hmm.
Jersey side. And if you are on the PA side, you could go hiking up the trails
Okay.
and you go to the top of the mountain and you see forever can sight of sea, but usually you get this beautiful topside view of bald eagles.
Oh,
And it's
wow.
very majestic to see,
Okay.
awe-inspiring. You know, you pass little creeks to go up. You could actually, usually I we choose to picnic on a rock in the middle of a creek
Okay.
as you're hiking up. But yeah, it's Delaware Water Gap is probably one of the most beautiful areas, especially around fall time, to check out
Okay.
the scenery, and it
Nice.
still feels like everything's untouched where you are.
Okay.
you're
Yeah.
you're minutes away from everything, but you feel like you're surrounded by nothing but woods and nature, and it's
Yeah.
very peaceful and very serene, and gives you a
Nice.
chance to, reflect and relax a
Yeah.
little bit
Decompress a
and
little bit.
decompress.
Probably something that would be good for a lot of New Yorkers. So you
Yes,
said
exactly.
the
And it's
Delaware.
really not a terrible hike. They have,
Okay.
they have different trails. So they
Hmm.
have ones that are a little easy and are a little, if you want a little bit more of a rock climb feeling,
Okay.
they have different trails, but they do actually have trails that are very easy and,
Okay.
able to master.
All right. So Jimmy and I could do it. We're
Yeah.
not super outdoorsy. We would need easy, and someone can find us if there's a
Yeah.
problem.
Yes, that's a good part. Usually pass a lot of people on those trails.
Okay, good. If it's
So the one thing I do terribly miss about New York is
mhm,
I did love Broadway.
okay.
Love to go to the shows. Love to experience the culture of New York, but I
Mhm.
always love going to Broadway shows, and that's something I will always keep as a memory. As my childhood growing up was going
Yeah.
to check out a shows, and of course, any chance you get go back to the city during the holiday seasons and
Yeah.
Rockefeller Center and all that. But I
Mhm.
always love going to Broadway shows. So
Yeah.
usually when I'm destined to go New York for a visit back, it's usually to hopefully catch a show.
Yeah, no, it's so great that like Broadway is back and everything because that was
Yeah,
such a crazy time when everything was shut down for a
yeah,
while and nobody could work, and the amount of work that they put into these shows with,
it's amazing.
preparing, and from the singers or actors or dancers to the staging and everything. It was like heartbreaking when that was
Yeah,
on hold. So yeah, that's actually one of the things that I remember as a kid before I lived in New York, coming in
yeah.
with my grandfather, we'd see two shows in one day sometimes.
Wow,
We'd
nice.
squeeze in FAO Schwartz. It's not there anymore, but we'd squeeze in
I
FAO
do miss
Schwartz.
that.
Yeah, I know. You're old enough to remember FAO
Yes,
Schwartz at this
yes.
point. Yeah,
It's just when you were so little, like, and you'd walk in and it felt so big to you, and everything
yes,
was so grand, and
yeah, absolutely. No, it was just an incredible spot, and yeah, that's definitely a special spot for sure. And I'm gonna have to. All right, so I'm making my list. So the Delaware Water Gap. And I would have to ask you for more details on
yep,
that
and Great Wolf.
sometime. And Great Wolf. Okay. I was like, Wolf Gap, like what? Great Wolf. Great Wolf. Okay. I can
Great
remember
Wolf,
that.
Great
Yeah.
Wolf. Yep.
Perfect. Definitely two destinations I want to make sure we take advantage of at some point. It's so close. It's crazy.
Yes.
Well, thank you for sharing all of that information with us about the Poconos, about what you can do. I think my kids would actually get a huge kick out of those heart-shaped, tubs as well. But yeah,
Those are the commercials I remember when I was a kid, and all I thought the Poconos had to offer.
yeah, Yeah, I hear you. We used to drive back and forth between New Jersey or the city and then upstate New York. So we
Okay.
would go right through that area. But I haven't been in forever. So it's definitely
I
something
think
we
you'd
need
be
to get to.
pleasantly
Yeah,
shocked to come see our
I'm
town.
I'm sure it's changed so dramatically.
It
Yeah.
has. It has. Only
Oh,
in the 25 years I've been here, and my husband's third generation, so
okay.
the changes he have seen, but what I have
Yeah.
seen, but I think we've had a lot of positive change, and that's what
Yeah.
we always like to see.
That's great. Absolutely. Well, good. I'm glad that like even the changes with COVID and stuff could have a positive impact, like in some
Yes.
areas for sure. So awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us today. This was great. I learned a ton about the Poconos.
Yes. Thanks for
And
having me.
yeah, and I'm definitely going to keep your area in mind when we get those investors that are inquiring about New York, but they want to do the short term thing, and it's just not feasible here the way it is in
No.
other areas. I think your
Yes.
area would be a really great location for them to potentially consider. Awesome.
Yes,
Well,
definitely.
everyone, we have Danielle Rovito, Remax Crossroads. She's in the Poconos. Great to check it out. If you have any questions about real estate, we're happy to connect you with Danielle. And I'll have to do some reels and stuff when we make it up there at some point in the future.
Sounds great. We'd love to have you.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. Let's keep in touch and hopefully we'll work together soon again.
I hope so. I hope so.
All right. Take
Bye
care.
bye.
Bye.